Yo, so we got another question from Taria. She says, "What are some of the things you noticed you were doing wrong with your music, especially since you were an accomplished producer already?"
Um, well, I mean, one thing that I noticed that I was doing wrong before is drums. My drums were so thin, and I used to only hear them in my earphones. So now here's another thing: I grew up on R&B music, so
Okay.
no matter what genre I was making, R&B always leaked into that music some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I couldn't escape grew up on. I was so programmed music wise, it was hard to make current music.
Hmm.
So that was one thing that I noticed that I had to adjust quickly, you know.
Yeah. It was the same for me too. My drums was the weak point because I could play keys. That's my main instrument, but the drums, like I know one of my producer mentors, he like loaded me up with like gigs of drum sounds. He was like, "Bro, like you gotta layer these joints or do something because they needed work." So for years, man, like I just worked on getting my drums better, man, and getting that, learning how to mix them properly and all that stuff. And then for me was I liked a lot of neo soul, um, gospel R&B stuff, and it was kind of the same for me. It was always in my music, and I wasn't following the trends, right? And a lot of times you find in TV and film they want what sounds like what's on the charts, what's on top 20 and Billboard charts and all that stuff. So just kind of finding that balance between what you like to do, your sound, and what's needed, because at the end of the day, like, we're serving clients, you know what I mean? So we gotta give them what they need too.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
that's I would say for me, just being current, a lot of my music coming up, it would sound like 5 years old. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, from whenever the time was. So for me, I had to just make sure to study a lot of what's new, what was new at the time at least, and the current because my music sounded outdated for a while. So that and mixing, mixing out, that was one thing I'm still learning how to do now, but
Yeah.
that was one thing that really hindered me because sound quality is very important, and if you have poor mixes, as we all know, you know companies can't use that. So I would say being outdated and my mixing kind of was something I used to struggle with.
Yeah, definitely.